Good day, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live classical music channel. This channel is created by musicians with a purpose to connect artists and the audiences in real time through live performances around the globe. We have a distinguished guest joining me today, and by the way, I'm Anna Uspinskaya, and I'm broadcasting to you from Washington, D.C. suburb. Mike Vaccaro, clarinetist, saxophonist, member of the Sound Espressivo Judges panel. We are continuing to introduce Sound Espressivo competition created by a community of musicians, music educators, and music managers with a purpose to make a difference for young musicians, for their teachers, for their parents of music students. We are here to empower musicians with new tools, enrich with new mindset, expand horizons of what's possible, what it takes a modern artist to create a joyful and successful life. And I'm going to invite Mike on stage. Hi, Mike. Welcome to our show. It's a great pleasure to have you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
And I'm going to ask you immediately a question. I hope you don't mind. Does it make any sense for anyone to even consider today being a musician? What do you say?
Oh, I think it's mandatory, except for it's a very hard way to make a living. But the joy of music, overcomes all. We have to realize that there's not CDs anymore. They don't put CDs in cars, right? And
No more.
no more. So it's all those little sticks. I don't know what you call them. And they have the music, and you put that in, and I think we're getting farther and farther away from a good package.
We're getting farther and farther away from what we used to, right? And
Yes.
it looks to everyone like times are not good for our profession, or are they? This is a really confusing situation. So what to base on the decision to even dedicate any significant time to studying music? And I think your channel says it all.
So, you want to be a musician? My name's Mike Vaccaro. I have some suggestions for you on purchasing an instrument and finding a teacher and the study of music. Did you hear somebody play and it was so intimate to you that it touched you, and that's why you want to play? That's a good reason. Are your parents keeping you busy so you don't get in trouble? That is, it's like a golf lesson and karate lesson and swimming lessons, and then they just add music lessons to keep you busy. That's not a very good reason, and you won't stay involved long, most likely. You want to play for fun with your friends? That's a good reason. Do you want to be a professional musician? That's probably early for you to know that, but that's a good reason. And are you just generally charmed when you hear music? When you hear music in the house, when you go out and you hear music in the car, maybe you go to a concert, are you charmed by it? If you are, that's a good reason to be a musician.
That is a good reason Mike, thank you for putting it so clearly. We need to go deep inside and listen to our heart.
Yeah,
Now, you're a
absolutely.
professional musician. How did you choose to become a musician?
Uh, Hard work, I guess. I knew, well, I knew it at when I was about 14 years old that I was going to be a musician. I went to Disneyland of all places, and they have bands there at night. And I heard this band, and I was sitting in the front row, and I thought, I'm going to do that for a living. And that's actually when I started practicing, despite all the years of private lessons.
That happens to many of us. And
Yeah.
many great musicians had ups and downs and started and then just got interested in other things and added more. And you're very diverse. You're a recording artist, you're a performer, but you're also a businessman. And you wear so many hats. Does that take away from your dedication to music, or does it enrich you?
Well, when I was a businessman, that was for about a 10-year period. That's primarily all I did. You know, I would hire the talent and do the sound lights and staging and all that kind of stuff, and it was really time consuming. And after doing it for 10 years, I decided, well, I got to have music. So
Mhm.
I went back to music. I think I was probably in my 40s, maybe my mid 40s when I did that, 45 to 55. I'm not sure, but it just, it's like when I went into it, I went into it because I'd been in dinner theater for a few years, and I couldn't take playing a show 9 months again if I had to. So that's how I started, in the business, and somebody actually helped me get in the business. Uh, but it was a good experience, and I learned a lot. And I wish all musicians would have to be in business for a while, just to
And
see,
why so?
because they'll see what has to happen to make them work. They just don't go to work. The phone just doesn't ring. They say, "Oh yeah, I'll be happy to do that." Something happened before that to get them that job. You know, and they should know what it is, and they should know, why somebody expects you to be on time. And dressed right, and combed your hair, and no tennis shoes, and that kind of stuff.
That's a good advice. So don't be prima donna. Take a look behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Just like musicians oftentimes complain that we're not appreciated enough for the hard work we do when we practice and prepare the programs, we as musicians will benefit from a little peek behind the scenes of what's happening when the concert is being organized. We show
right.
up there to perform. We bring our hard work in there, but there's a whole army of people who are working to make the concert happen for us, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does that experience did that experience make you a better musician, or had no connection at all?
I don't think it had to do with being a better musician. I think it had to do with having better deportment on the job. Like I got there a little earlier than I used to, and somebody needed help. I just helped them without even thinking about it. I wasn't worried about getting my horn together as much. And, I mean, it's just, that's what it was.
You're also a promoter of classical music and classical music education, and you're so diverse. You're making videos and on different subjects. You're recording classical music pieces. You're recording newly written classical music. You're recording even videos on subject germane to woodwind instruments, and particularly music and practicing. And the, what makes you want to do all of those different things, diverse things?
Well, again, it was mandatory that I do it because people have started listening with their eyes instead of their ears. And, so that made me change. I've gotten so involved recently, the last year, with doing videos, which I've never done in my life before. But, it's, in a way, it's very creative. Not in a way, it is very creative. And
So you
it's a,
think meeting our audience where the audience is a good path Because a lot of musicians might say mandatory.
Mandatory.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's mandatory. They don't have to do it your way. You have to do it their way. They're paying.
That's a great advice. I'm gonna remember that. Let's hear some of Mike's amazing playing, and I really love this recording, which I know is coming. Let's hear the Besame Mucho. I love that improv. You're such a virtuoso. Beautiful sound. Oh, so warm and great. And I want to say hi to one of our great fans. Thank you, Travis. This is such a good pleasure to have you with us. So, Mike, I have the next question.
Uh-oh.
You're planning to record this year's CDs, and you said that that's going to be next year, but that's of Brahms Clarinet Sonatas and jazz CDs.
Right.
Now, how do you combine the two?
A
lot of people will say you can't have, in your repertoire Brahms and jazz.
Why? It's music. It's only music. I mean, it's odd when somebody is a serious classical musician, which I am. I always describe myself as a classical musician that plays some jazz, and I think that's pretty much true. I mean, I'm not going to get up on the bandstand and trade floors with a guy that can play 10 times faster than me, but that doesn't mean you can't play a valid solo, I mean, I just think it's the new way of doing things. I mean, 100 years ago, even when I went to college, we had a classical music department. Jazz was not allowed. It was like immoral,
Exactly.
And we went out and we had a little band that rehearsed at 5 o'clock in between the daytime and the nighttime classes. And we went out and won a jazz contest, and then they had to pay attention to us, and it really goofed them up because they had to hire new teachers and get rid of some teachers, and the whole thing changed. But I think that's a thing that's happening more and more. I mean, I have a brilliant oboe student, he's at Yale now, and he's a good jazz tenor player. You know, and even though he's at Yale, he's already got a job with the Riverside Symphony that they let him get out of the Yale to go come back to California and do the symphony job. So I think it's becoming more and more of a trait. I think if you're a soloist, like a violin soloist or a piano soloist, it's a little harder to do. You know, because the repertoire is so complicated, and you're expected to know so much repertoire, and but for me, I just did whatever I wanted to do, and that was
That's
play
amazing.
jazz and classical.
So you went with your heart, with courage, and yeah, like you said, it's music and it's
Yeah.
beautiful music. And I want to say hi to one more person who is joining us on LinkedIn at the moment. Hello, Anthony. Thank you for joining us and thank you for commenting. It's a great pleasure to welcome comments from our audience. Please comment some more. We'll bring your comments on stage, and if you have a question, ask it. Mike is here to answer it.
Boy, Sam Cooke was one of my favorite singers, and I just saw a special on him last night. So congratulations, Anthony. I mean, Sam Cooke was the deal.
Yeah, so it's great. Um, let's go back to talking about old package and old setup, which was so habitual for musicians. We knew how to navigate. You make it CDs, and they are being sold, and you're getting paid, and sometimes you sell them at the concerts. But what's going on with that now, and how do we navigate this new space?
Well, it seems unless you have a contract with a major record company, and I mean major record company, where they're actually controlling your career, getting these concerts for you, and doing everything else, you're probably putting your CDs up on one of the streaming sites, and there's really no money to be made on those. They really steal most of the money, and the union hasn't figured out how to do it, and to get us our money, and no one else has either. So I've pretty much just stayed out of that, and I'm on a thing called Bandcamp, bandcamp.com, and they have all my CDs there, and they're good. They pay you as soon as you sell your CD. Within 2 minutes, you got payment, and they're the only people that I know that are doing that.
And please say that name again for those who are listening right now. If we have
Ba-
musicians joining us,
yeah.
you can look down there. Our producer Fedor just typed the name of it for you,
Oh yeah.
bandcamp.com.
Okay. See it right. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. So Mike is recommending this for all musicians who would like to get their CDs sold and make some money out of it.
Right, and just as a terrible thing to say, my address there is mikevacaro2.bandcamp.com in case you want to, buy one of my 9 CDs.
That's right. And those are downloads. So we're in the realm of downloads. You said something about CDs and cars.
Yeah, I mean, they don't make CDs as players in cars anymore. I mean, a lot of people go drive their car out the lot and go to put their favorite CD in and can't find the slot.
Oh my gosh. But I want to play a track, Motor Car, and I want to hear your comment after that.
Okay.
I love, Mike, that you support contemporary composers. I really appreciate that because my simple thought is always Beethoven was a contemporary at one point. He had to knock on the doors to get funding for his Fifth Symphony to premiere, and he was rejected by majority, and he put his own money forward to get his masterpieces performed, for the first time.
I think a lot of us do that. But the problem with any new music is, it's like doctors. 10% of the doctors know what they're talking about. The rest of them really don't. And it's the same thing with composers. I mean, 10% of the composers are wonderful, and then there's the ones that say they're wonderful that really aren't. So as a buyer, you don't know who to believe, especially if you're not familiar with music. If you're a businessman and you own a record company and you don't really know what you're listening to, but they're selling, so you're happy.
Yeah, but musicians like yourself, with this vast experience and so much knowledge, you choose really great newly written music to perform. The music which you like. That's the music which is going to stay and survive the time.
We hope so.
The test of time.
Yeah.
This is great composers.
And I've had good luck too, because you know that almost every CD I've ever done, there's been at least one original piece, sometimes as much as half the record. Boy, that's late. Another day. That's another day. So I've had some input about what the kind of music is. I like contemporary music, but I like it that the ones that still hold on to old melodies and harmonies. You can take tonality as far out as you can take it, and I'll like it. When there's no touch with tonality, I'm not a fan of it. It might be my popular music background. I don't know what it is, but
I can understand that. Tell us a little bit about your saxophone quartet.
Well, everybody except for myself teaches at a university. One fellow teaches at Cal State Fullerton, another teaches at Chapman College, and another one teaches at Cal State Long Beach. And I haven't taught in 40 years. I used to teach at where did I used to teach? That's how long it's been.
You used to teach in many different places, and now you're extending your generous help to the Sound Espressivo applicants.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that the applicants of the competition will meet Mike Vaccaro along with many other members of the judging panel and hear immediate feedback. So people will perform, and they will hear the judges speak on the spot, not unfiltered comments, how you can improve, how you can communicate with the audience better, and what worked really well, so you retain that. But back to your quartet.
So anyway, we just got together for fun, and then we decided to do a concert at Chapman College, which we did, which is mostly that DVD or whatever it is. And then COVID came along. So we haven't seen each other for a long time. About 4 weeks ago, we had our first rehearsal back, and then, of course, I had my famous operation that put me out of work for 3 months. So as soon as that's over, we'll start again and see where it goes from there.
And I want to point out that it takes courage, of course, to start a group, right? It takes even more courage to start a group when you're not 17 anymore.
Well, if you want to play, you want to play.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
If you want to play, you just play. You just find that opportunity to go with it, and you roll with it, and you put your best foot forward, and just be open-minded.
Yeah,
solve the
if it
problems this
becomes
year.
popular, that's fine. But if it doesn't, that's really not why we're doing it. I mean,
Exactly.
I
Back to
mean,
the very beginning of our program. You need to have a really solid core of why you're doing what you're doing. Let's hear
Right.
some of that quartet. That was such a cool ending. I really hope, Mike, your group continues.
Me too.
Yeah, we have some more messages, and Anthony, we're not ignoring you. I'm going to bring your messages up on screen for Mike to read and respond real quick. So, looks like Anthony is doing a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, please get in touch with us. We're really interested in connecting with people like you. If you're still here with us, I hope you are. So, Mike, you have something to say to Anthony? Wave your hand.
Well, Anthony, just keep going. Just keep doing it. I'm glad you're busy. I'm glad you're, Sunday night with the Dodger game and everything else that's going on here in the United States, and you're writing and doing music. I see that you're doing the video portion too. So it sounds like you're going along the direction I'm trying to go.
Yeah, let's connect.
Yeah.
DM us, message us.
Yeah.
We'd like to connect. And please leave comments. Talk to us. We're open to new connections and new collaborations. I want to also mention your trio Musique and the Columbia Artists Community Concerts, Mike. You were involved in that?
Yeah, we were kind of involved right near the very end of it because, the whole thing fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
But we did some concerts around the United States, and they were fun. I was kind of at the age where, I feel bad and good for some of these older soloists that are on the road. That's a hard life. It was fine when I was 20, 25, but I can't even imagine doing it now. And, you see these guys that come and they look, like they just got out of the shower and they feel like $1 million, and they go out and they play fabulous. Then they go to the party afterwards and they get on the plane and go to the next town and play again. I think it's amazing because I don't know if I could do it anymore.
Well, you're doing it. You're starting a new group, and I assume you're going to be booking concerts and performing as soon as that becomes possible, and recording and doing all the videos and all of your other plans.
We just
And
do the best we can.
And I'm very much looking forward to your Brahms Clarinet Sonatas. That
me
will
too.
be a fabulous recording.
Great,
Yeah.
great piece of music.
Mike, thank you so much. We're coming to the end of our program. I'd like to continue chatting with you forever, but we have to finish on this, and we'll have you back. And everyone who applies to the competition will meet Mike and other judges. We're continuing with the series, introducing the judges of Sound Espressivo, so you guys know what our community is like, who the people are who are creating this new space for young musicians, for their teachers, for everyone who is dedicated to the art. Please come join us. We welcome everyone. We are supportive, and we would like to do our work together and help each other. So, and I would like to thank also our producers. Today, the director of our show was Fyodor Ospensky, and here's our team. Everyone on that team is a professional musician, diverse person. These people are performing, recording, teaching, and producing the shows for everyone to see. This is possible. This virtual stage exists. It can be professionally managed. It can be comfortable, and it can become a new tool, an additional tool for us musicians to connect with each other and with our audience. We want to also thank very much the History of Music channel, which gives great support to our initiatives and helps us to connect with people around the globe. Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to say goodbye to our audience today, and we'll see you in the next programs. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining.
You.